If they find anyone alive at this late stage, it's pretty much a miracle. They have heard noises beneath the ground, or at least in that area. Given that this whole area has collapsed, the hope is that somehow someone has managed to stay alive in a little protected cave, if you like, underneath the rubble. And they've moved in numbers to try and collect things as quickly as they can, all doing it by hand, as you can see, because it's impossible to get to this area for the big machinery. And more people are coming now to try and help out. And if they find anyone alive at this late stage, it's pretty much a miracle. And that's what everyone's hoping for, that somehow they have managed to survive against all the odds. So we've just arrived at the scene with the Russian rescue crew, and they've turned up with dogs, what appears to be a plan anyway. And as soon as they arrived at this house, there was a very strong smell, so they suspect that there are bodies trapped beneath. Through this gap, which Jake, the cameraman, is filming, you can see them wading through water, so it's filled with water. Every few minutes they're stopping. The digger has managed to clear rubble over part of the roof anyway, and now they're having a look through the cavity. They know, they've heard a young child's voice, they know at least one person appears to be alive and is responding, knocking and responding to their shouting, but it's very, very faint. So there's a lot of uncertainty, but a huge amount of excitement and the possibility that someone may still be alive under there. They're barely recognizable as cars, but all of these were vehicles filled with people who were trying to escape and get out of the way of the floods. A whole load of them all ended up here. The divers have been searching for many days now, and they keep on finding bodies trapped underneath the water, some of them still in the cars. Hundreds of them over the weekend, another 27 in the past 24 hours, and they keep on coming up. They say the water is so foggy, so badly affected underneath, they're having trouble locating many of the corpses, but they know there are a number still there waiting to be retrieved. This wasn't anything before. It maybe had a tiny trickle of water sometimes when they had heavy rain. Most of the time though, this was dry and there were banks of buildings, apartments, homes, businesses on either side. The water's cut a huge motorway style path through it, and all the buildings all around destroyed. Everyone we've spoken to is insisting over and over again how this disaster has brought them all together. And they're emphasising how people from all over the country are coming to help, how they've all been affected. And it doesn't matter whether you're a soldier, whether you're from the military, whether you're a civilian, doctor, engineer, student, whatever. This disaster has struck the country and affected them so much that it somehow is pulling them together, at least for now.
Karen Cross gives damning report on MP Angela Brown Burke / Philip Paulwell daughter disappearance. Views expressed here are not of Hustlers Entertainment and is to be taken with a pinch of salt.
Come to the fact that the U.S. intelligence is deeply involved in what is happening down here. Not only because Paulwell, first baby mother number one, as we like to refer to her, is also a federal agent. And I can tell you she works for the DEA, which is a drug enforcement agency. That's the agency she works for. Paulwell's baby mother number one. And being a federal agent I said in my first voice note about this matter, is that she cannot lie about anything regarding the disappearance of this that said that it's Paulwell baby that she have, and Paulwell have to now claim the baby and own the baby. Now, I am not ruling out the fact that she might still be a person of interest, and she might very well still be on the radar of the police, because in a matter like this, when a person is missing for 8 days, the obvious suspects are the husband, boyfriend, man, boyfriend, or the husband, woman, ex-woman, wife, whatever it is. But these people are the usual suspects. And suffice to say, more than one occasions, 99% of the time, it is always one of them. Always. But I am confident in myself, confident, that Philip Paulwell couldn't harm him baby and the whore who claimed that this baby is his. Him couldn't. Philip Paulwell can't even kill a chicken for him Christmas dinner. That's how much of a kind of a naive and coward Philip Paulwell is. Philip Paulwell, I don't even know if him kill fly. You know, but him couldn't kill a chicken to save him life on Christmas Day. In the first instance when we were told that Paulwell's phone was cloned, Angela Brown-Burke is a person that cloned Paulwell's phone. Paulwell's investigation produced that result, and Paulwell in return reported the matter to the FBI, to the police and to the FBI. Why? Because this is international crime. This is not a crime that only the Jamaican police can handle. Because Paulwell is a public figure. And being a public figure and a former minister of government who still has access to some places, if his phone is cloned, the FBI would be interested whether anybody call them yes or no. They would be interested, because that's what the FBI does. Be interested in things. The FBI interviewed Paulwell. And anybody who knows how the FBI operate, when the FBI sit you down to ask questions, these are questions that they already have the answers to. The asking you of the questions is to see if you're going to lie, or to see if you could add anything to whatever they know, or take away anything to whatever they know. That is the reason why they ask you questions. FBI don't ask questions that they don't already know the answers to. Trust me on that. So Paulwell reported the matter of the cloning of his phone. The FBI got involved. And then the FBI sat down with Paulwell to interview him about the phone. And in interviewing about the phone and talking about the demand for the 50,000 US, the FBI informed Paulwell that the account number that was submitted to him for this $50,000 demand for his phone was an account that belongs to Paul Burke and Angela Brown-Burke. The FBI informed Paulwell of that this bank account that they say you must put this 50,000 US in is Paul Burke and Angela Brown-Burke's bank account. The FBI tell Paulwell that Paulwell know that Paulwell have that information. Mark Golding knows, and he has this information. Mark Golding knows, and he has the information. A couple other people know. I would go as far as saying that even PG himself probably know as a former prime minister. I would imagine that the Minister of National Security in Jamaica also knows, or he has been given a brief. I would imagine that. I'm not saying right off the bat that he knows, but I would imagine that FBI would give him a brief as well, or his staff would get a brief, on that matter. The pictures that was being sent to Paulwell's 8-year-old daughter came from that phone. So it goes without saying that Angela Brown-Burke is the one sending those pictures. The pictures. Now, mind you, I'm not joining the two things, the disappearance of baby mother number 2 and what Angela doing. But it was the beginning of everything. I don't get to the meat of the matter where I can join the two things and make it into one. But I get in there. I promise you, the information is slow, and sometimes these people work slow in terms of sharing, But Paulwell's phone with that picture and all of that was sent to the baby. They are baby mother number one. And the baby saw them. That was Angela Brownburk's doing. All of that was her doing. The police reported yesterday that they took off a person of interest off of the plane. Now, at first, there was a rumor that the person that they took off the plane was baby mother number one, who's the federal agent, was leaving the country. Now, I said to those who was saying that, stop that. Not Augusta, that can't be true. Now, why did I say it can't be true? It can't be true because she has been here. She has been here since the whole saga. The police must have questioned her more than once and have her and maybe informed her not to leave the country or something. So it is just not a logical thing to say that she attempted to leave the country and them hold her off at the airport. That is not a logical argument because she has been here. And if she has been here, then we must assume that the police question her, and we must assume that they say to her, do not move. We're not finished with you yet. She's a federal agent. So there's hardly much the police in Jamaica can do unless them have some hard and fast facts about she being involved at any high rate about the disappearance of this woman and the baby. Right? But international exchange of information and intelligence and all of that is kind of funny and fuzzy in some respects. Right? But I concluded that it wasn't she. Lo and behold, we understand today that the person of interest is a relative of Angela Brownburk. And that person might very well have been involved in the cloning of the phone and the information gathering and sending out of information on Paulwell's phone. Now, Jamaican village lawyers them across the country would have been sitting down and trying to figure out the thing long time ago. We know that you have been doing that, all of you village lawyers out there. We know. You know what the hurtful thing is about all of this? Mark Golding knows. Mark Jefferson Golding, the president of the People's National Party, he knows. And he has Angela Brownburk chairing PNP conference while the FBI have her on the investigation. Come on, PNP people. Come on. What's the matter with Uno? Mark Golding, the leader, Uno just basically make leader for life. I don't want to make light of that. Uno give a constitutional right to stay in power for whatever length of time he wants to stay in power, because that is how we're going to read it, no matter what Uno think. Him have the chairman of the party, Angela Brownburk, chairing party conference, a national, regional, international event, while she's under active investigation from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Mark Golding knows. And him, Mark Golding, that have the audacity to tell a PNP MP of 26 years, say mustn't come to PNP conference. Wonderful, PNP people, wonderful, not listen to me. Mark Golding, the president of the People's National Party, told Philip Paulwell, former minister of government, former vice president of the PNP, former regional chairman for Region 3, former chairman of the party, a man that has done so much for the PNP. Mark Golding, this little piece of telling PNP MP that he mustn't come to PNP conference.
How does a $100 million fighter jet eject its pilot, vanish, and go missing? It has been over 24 hours since one of the most sophisticated jets in the world, an F-35 stealth fighter jet, has disappeared over North Carolina, and no crash has been reported. Officials are calling this a mishap where the pilot was forced to eject and then the plane continued on autopilot. The pilot parachuted safely into a residential neighborhood where he landed and was then taken to a local hospital where he remains in stable condition. The jet range is 1,200 miles. However, it is unknown how much fuel was left in the jet at the time the pilot was ejected. And for unknown reasons, the jet transponder is not working. After the U.S. Air Force sent out a message yesterday asking the public to call in and report if they find a missing fighter jet, people think something is going on, like maybe what happened last week to the MGM hotels in Las Vegas. Aerospace giant Lockheed Martin describes the F-35 as the most advanced fighter jet in the world, as well as the most lethal, stealthy, and survivable aircraft. So what do you think happened, and where do you think the F-35 fighter jet is? Let me know what you think about all of this down below.
The U.S. military is asking the public for help to locate a missing F-35 fighter jet that vanished after the pilot safely ejected from it on Sunday afternoon. The unidentified pilot used an emergency parachute, according to the New York Times, and is now in stable condition at a local medical center. Officials are calling the incident a mishap. A spokesperson for Joint Base Charleston told NBC News that the plane was left in autopilot when the pilot ejected, so there is a chance the jet could still be airborne. Officials are reportedly focusing their search on the area around Lake Moultrie and Lake Marion due to the plane's last identified location. Stay with us for more updates.
Something very strange is happening. Take a look here at your screen. I made a video earlier today about this, about that F-35 fighter jet that was missing. And the Marines, it's the U.S. Marines, they are asking for the public's help to locate it, which has a lot of people shocked because you think they would know where the fighter jet is. But now we are hearing that the Marines, the U.S. government has placed a 2-day stand down for all jets, both inside and outside the United States. So F-35s, and not just F-35s, but all jets are not allowed to fly for at least 2 days in the United States. What is going on? There's a lot of rumors and a lot of things being said out there, but I do not report those. But this is very unusual. The Pentagon has not yet been able to answer as to actually exactly what is happening. So you need to follow me. Follow me here on TikTok because I'm going to make a new video as soon as we learn more information about this. I'm not going to post any of the rumor, the gossip until we get a firmer grasp on what's going on. Thank you, everyone. Follow me right over there. I'll make a new update as soon as I learn more.
Breaking tonight, a search team just discovering a debris field 2 hours northeast of Joint Base Charleston. It is believed to be the wreckage of an F-35 fighter jet that disappeared on Sunday. The $100 million stealth jet crashed after the pilot safely ejected over Charleston, South Carolina. Today, the Marines grounded all aviation crews for a 2-day safety stand-down. This is the third incident involving Marine aircraft in recent weeks, including a fatal Osprey crash.